red button means go. I believe we're live. So we're playing the reverse game today. So it's not morning for me at all. So I suppose I'll start with good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And I'm happy to say that we really are wherever we are in the world, coming from truly decentralized parts today. Everybody's all over the place. So it's good to get everybody on and obviously be able to see faces and touch base with everybody as well. So I know that we've got a great deal of stuff to get through, so I won't rabbit on too much as I tend to do. But we have an absolute action-packed AMA for everybody to be a part of. As you can see, lots of stuff happening, even from the announcements in the Discord. I feel like I've pinged everybody like 15 times today. So lots of stuff happening, and we're really starting to make waves. So I won't, like I said, I won't chat on too long, and I'll pass it over to Kevin. Do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, thanks for that. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm in India actually, and it's good to be here. I had to come here. I think because of because of the application, development and the projects that we've got in pipeline. One of the most important thing was the stability of the core, and I've called two of the core developers over here as well to the office. And I think for the next 2 months, 1 month, I don't know, right? We are streamlining the whole application development process. Now that the interfaces are ready, any developer, any project can go in there and start building. So the interfaces are completely prepared, tested. You can start, and we also have the developer competitions that is ongoing. So yeah, I think me being here, it's important right now because the core stabilization and the application development process that has to be automated, that feedback mechanism from the developers, that is what we need to install right now in the application team. And along with that, the core team working closely with the application team to understand what are the missing gaps, what needs more attention. I think that is what we are working on at this particular moment. But happy to say that the interfaces are completed, it's out there, and anyone can go and start building. And in fact, we have people who have actually started building with us as well.
Excellent. Do you, Kevin, can you guys hear me? Yeah, okay, perfect. Hello, everybody. It looks like we're all in maybe a different place. Joe's in the same place, I can see. Where's Fair today? Is he having a shower or something? Because you guys were in the same place.
He's playing the piano or something like that. You'll be able to see him sneak around the couch at any moment.
Well, you're on shifts. You guys do shifts.
That's we just rotate to the front of the camera. That's right. Sometimes Mike swings by as well.
Yeah, when he's not out on the town. Maybe Kevin, if you can maybe take through some of the things that are on that roadmap from the core side and maybe update on Explorer. That'd be good.
Yeah. So from the core side, we have divided the development work into two different parts. First part is focusing exclusively on the interface integration and the testing of it. So it can be the fees, it can be querying the fees, it can be transaction speed, contract deployment. All those tests are being conducted right now. And we did that before as well, but now that people are building with us, we can see that a lot of traffic coming in, contract deployments happening, and it's an amalgamation of various types of contracts that come together on the core infrastructure and tell us if something is going wrong. And the other part of the core is focusing on the scalability and the security of the consensus mechanism. So we have open sourced the VM code, completely open sourced it. We have open sourced the interfaces as well. And right now we are making sure that the consensus code is being optimized before we open source that out as well. In terms of the Explorer, we are making some changes there. So you can expect the Explorer by the 10th of June, the updated Explorer, where the l1xapp.com, /Explorer will be updated. So we have something called as a core profiler right now, which is if you go to l1xapp.com /core-profiler, you'll see the number of blocks, transactions, accounts, all the blocks in there, all the transactions in there. But what we are doing is we are actually taking that infrastructure and putting it on the Explorer directly and calling it the L1X scan. So the L1X scan will, accommodate information such as the blocks, block finalization time, validator rewards. It will also have transaction speed, number of transactions, and even you will be able to go and filter according to who is deploying on the chain. So all this information will be available. We have the designs done. The integration is currently in progress for that.
Good. And I know you've been on a recruitment over there as well, eh? With more devs coming on board as well. Maybe talking a little bit about that. Is that from the application side as well, in terms of supporting that, or across the board?
Yeah. So, as we spoke on Monday and Wednesday as well, regards to the flow of project onboarding, one of the gaps that we have seen and identified is after the project tries to, deploy the contract, if they have any problems, the dev support is very essential in that place. So we already have 2 developers that we have put on to the developer portal. So if you go right now, they will be able to help you with your queries as well immediately. And at the same time, we are hiring around 25 more developers. That will be a combination of core developers and application developers. But these developers will exclusively focus on 2 important things. One is the interface testing and feedback, resolutions, and making sure that we implement the changes requested by the developers if it makes sense. And the second one, and more important one, is for us is the stability of the code. So making sure that, although I think at this particular moment, our transactions per second tested are at a good number, but more importantly than scalability at this stage is the stability of the code. Because being the first multi-chain layer 1 infrastructure, we don't want to be in a position where, people start deploying, right? And the network goes down after every 2 hours, like we have seen with many other layer 1 infrastructures. So stability of the core is what we are currently focusing upon at this stage. So these developers will be divided into feedback team, application team, and the core team.
Excellent. And I know on the roadmap we've got with the node hosting as well, but I might start a little bit by updating the community that with the first process that we're implementing now is the allocation of the V1 nodes, the reserve V1 node NFTs to the people that opted into experts with V1. And so we've just released something tonight where it takes you through the process where you can verify your allocation. So that's the first step we wanted to do, is actually make sure that they were allocated so everyone had their allocation of the node NFTs V2 and V1. The next process that we'll be rolling out, which will be sometime next week, probably towards the end of next week, will be the whitelist process. And so when the whitelist process rolls out, that will be the opportunity for those that are ready to host a node to be able to then go on to complete the whitelist form submission, and then when approved, they'll go onto the whitelist. And so when the node allocation goes out, or the spots go out of 80 spots, and if not all of them are taken up, then the remaining spots will be referred to the whitelist. And that's where the priority in the queue on the whitelist is V1 node, people that opted in for V1 node NFTs, platinum, gold, silver. And so that's where the opportunity for the V1 node opt-in NFT holders, that was a mouthful, but those people will be able to then go top of the queue on the whitelist if they're ready to host a node and they can prove they're ready to host a node. So that process all has to be complete, and then we can kind of begin the node hosting. So we've got spots, people ready to take up those nodes. So with that in mind, Kevin, when would node hosting, when the actual node hosting begin, do you think?
Yeah. So just a little bit of background on this so the community is aware as well. There are 3 types of nodes that we've got right now. The archive nodes that hold the data, the sync up with the block proposer, the validator nodes, and the block proposer. We are starting with the archive nodes first, because we were going to start with the validator nodes, but we saw a lot of interruptions that were happening where, the block synchronization were having certain issues, but we have resolved them now. Because what was happening was we tested the infrastructure, but after that, when people started going and deploying, different contracts were being thrown at it at different point in time. So this amalgamation of contracts back to back, because there are so many different contract types, that is the time we saw block synchronization issues. But we do have a system in place that always makes sure that transaction states are always maintained. Now we are starting off with the archive nodes, and the archive node process probably will start from the 10th of June onwards. So from the 10th of June onwards, you'll be able to host your nodes, and you'll also get your node NFT. So you'll be able to see those node NFTs in the first week of June into your account. And from the 10th of that particular month, you'll be able to start hosting that node as well.
Excellent. No, that's great. Thank you, mate. Thank you for all that update. Cody, I think you've got some updates as well, mate. You want to go through?
Yeah, for sure. So can you hear me okay?
Yeah, gotcha.
Loud and clear. Lovely. All right. Yeah. So as many of you have noticed on our Twitter handle and in Discord as well, LBank has listed our first trading day coming on the 28th of next Tuesday, I believe. And so we're pretty excited about that. And we're also working towards getting MEXC wrapped up. But so you can see, we've made the documentation pretty quick because, oh gosh, when was it that we announced LBank? Probably, what, a week ago that they were coming on. And thanks to the LBank team for pushing us through really quick on that. Definitely shows good signs that we've got our documentation ready to go and it's ready. So as new exchanges come on, we'll basically be able to onboard them just as fast and go from there. So just a couple of little things, that Kevin was mentioning earlier regarding nodes and a few things like that, that we were trying to get corrected on MEXC side of things. Like Kevin mentioned, those things are cleared now. So I believe they're back in the last little bit of integration testing. So once they do get integrated with us fully, it'll be, I think they said it about 1 to 3 business days before they could get us listed as well. We'll probably, as soon as we get that, we'll be able to announce a listing date, and then we'll throw some marketing behind it. In regards to marketing, we definitely have some great marketing activities that are happening over there. We've got one of the interesting things that we're doing with LBank is a learn to earn kind of thing, so that people can learn about XTalk and all of its powerful tools and functions and abilities that it can do. Likewise, we've got some other kind of trading and holding competitions as well. We will also be doing an AMA on, I think, May 30th as well with their global handle. So we've got a Telegram AMA coming up with them, as well as I believe 2 X spaces as well, which will be great. So from a marketing effort, as we mentioned before, a lot of you have been asking when listing, when are we going to do some more marketing activities? So you can see that we've been kind of saving up a little bit for these type of marketing activities as we roll out these different CEXs. So good things are coming, and we're all excited for LBank. They've been a great partner so far, and we're definitely looking forward to working more with them.
Excellent, mate. Is that everything, or you got some other stuff you want to go through as well?
Let's see. Another couple of questions that have been coming up from the community too is in regards to KOLs. As we've mentioned before, we have about 160 KOLs that we've been using strategically. And so the KOLs, now that we're getting LBank going, we're getting MEXC going as well. We'll be kind of ramping those guys back up again. And so, we're kind of excited on that. Many of them have already been notified of the LBank listing and are beginning to push already on their end. And so again, it's probably good to preface that, you know, we're kind of moving more towards the development side of the marketing. So a lot of times you're not going to see these KOLs primarily maybe in your groups and communities that you're involved with, because we are so heavily focused on the development side of things. And so the design behind that is just so that we can start attracting those projects and different game studios, things like that, to come and build on top of us. And they will be the ones that bring all of the new fresh investors and users to the L1X ecosystem. And so again, that's why you might not see a lot of these KOLs, but yeah, just know that we've definitely got them working in the background. Likewise, we've had offers from a couple of these CEXs to kind of tap into the various markets. That's the other thing that we have been kind of working behind the scenes with. So instead of doing more of a global kind of KOL approach, a lot of these are being hyper focused in specific markets for specific reasons. And so many of those you may have seen in your own markets, but that's another reason why you probably haven't seen some as well, is because you're not in those specific markets. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think we could probably talk about some DEX questions I know have been coming up in the community as well now.
Yeah, no problem. So let me go through some updates as well. I think we have the we were on Killer Whales last night, and just on one of their the AMAs that we were featured on, and yeah, and I thought it was a great platform to be able to speak on the Killer Whales platform. And so for those community members who don't know, there is a voting mechanism they have on Killer Whales where you can go ahead, you can vote on Killer Whales and to accrue points. And I think if we get it into the top 3 or top 5, I think it is, and then we get to be able to go on the Killer Whales show. So I just wanted to mention that as well, that we were on that last night. And so that might be a good opportunity to raise awareness as well. From the project update point, so the dev team are still working closely with the Diga team to release a few of the products that they have. They've already actually built some games, the Diga team, and so our dev team will be working with them, and their team will be building out for that. So that's still in progress. The guys from Red Curry will be delivering all the repos to them for the multi-chain asset issuance and management, and they already have the code that we've open sourced as well for their build. From the DEX perspective, I think we've mentioned that we're talking to a couple of DEXs there, but we've shared all the code with L1 DEX that we have as well, that Kevin talked about, the open sourcing of the VM. So we've shared that, and with L1 DEX, if anything more comes out, we'll share it with them as well. And then other DEXs that are interested, we've also shared the code with them as well, and they've already started building as well. So that's in progress as well. From the Launchpad side of it, I know someone asked about the Launchpad. I probably want to explain with the Launchpad as well, where maybe the larger kind of ecosystem view that we have, but let me kind of maybe finish with that and go through a few other things that I know that the community were asking. So what has been distributed in the coin allocation? So in terms of what's been going out in terms of the coin allocation, some of you will be finding more coins than you expected in there. So what's been distributed is the airdrop from December, January airdrop. The Intract airdrop has been distributed as well. Now, with Intract, we have requested them for any updates on the distribution. If they give us an update on distribution and there's more coins to be distributed, then we will go ahead and distribute as well. We're just asking them to make sure that they're giving us the most updated version, but we're working off, we've already distributed what they gave to us originally. So that's been distributed. The airdrop that we did in the end of March, which is the airdrop bonus campaign, where I think that was the NFTs, the swaps, the usernames, that's been distributed as well through the distributor. The end of April airdrop, which was the pre-launch airdrop, which was the NFT and the swaps, that has also been distributed. And then the token builder daily prizes, they will start to be distributed, or maybe already have started to be distributed. And so those will be coming out all the way up until, I believe, the 21st of May from then in terms of distribution. Gleam's yearly Discord competition prizes, most of them have been distributed, but we're just double checking with the rest of the team to make sure that we've got all of those. But if there is some still to be distributed, we'll catch them and we'll distribute that as well. But 90% of them are done. And then referrals from public and private sale have been distributed as well. So that's where you'll see extra coins coming in from those distributions that have gone out, and some more distributions that come out through the existing airdrop that we're still running, and obviously the anything from the token builder that's not past the 21st of May as well. So that's been distributed. So that's why that's happening. You'll see extra coins within your wallets as well. But I thought I might just take a moment to kind of give everyone a bit of an idea of the ecosystem plan and how we can leverage the L1X architecture to build something which basically is like an omni-chain ecosystem. And so when you look at the I'll probably rant on here, so jump in if I'm rambling a little bit. But when you look at the L1, what Kevin and the dev team have done, they've developed an architecture where you've got multiple different nodes in this architecture, and it's also interoperable across any chain. So if you look at with the multiple nodes, there's multiple revenue sources coming from those nodes. You've got full validator nodes, which have the native transaction fees. You've got the event lister node with the cross-chain transaction fees and the Oracle fees. And so that revenue distribution allows us to create an ecosystem that is fairly unique, and we can tailor it so it's incentivized in a way that it benefits L1X coin and the health of the protocol. And so what we're looking at when developing the ecosystem, we have the ecosystem grants pool, and that grants pool is for 8 core projects, right, that will build on Layer 1X. And those core projects are like a DEX. And when we look at the core projects, we look at it in terms of its ability to attract users, to attract activity, like active users, and also its ability to either provide liquidity for L1X coin for the cross-chain swaps, or to be able to provide increased utility for the L1X coin, increasing the demand of L1X coin. So that's how we kind of look at these projects. Now, the unique thing that we have because of the architecture is that what we want to do is we want to have these core projects that are built natively on Layer 1X. But because they're built natively on Layer 1X, they can also exist on every chain that we're connected to. So they can have the BNB version, the Arbitrum version, the Solana version. And so let's take a core project like a Launchpad, for example. Our vision there for the Launchpad is that a Launchpad that is built directly on Layer 1X, where the Launchpad normally has a mechanism where you stake the Launchpad token for allocation. This Launchpad that we're wanting to develop with a core team is where L1X coin will be the coin that you will stake onto the Launchpad to get the allocation. Now, it's not just L1X coin and the Launchpad on Layer 1X. It also means that that Launchpad can also then launch on BNB chain and also launch projects through the BNB chain. And for people on BNB chain, if they want an allocation in that Launchpad on BNB, L1X coin will be on BNB, where they can stake it into that staking contract and get an allocation on BNB. And so what this does, it has users on Layer 1X for the Launchpad, and it has users on every chain that we're connected to. But what the users are interacting with in terms of the coin, it's L1X coin. And so now we're creating demand across chain through these core projects. And so when you think of things like how can this node architecture help incentivize users to use these applications? So if it's a project like, let's say, a Launchpad, and they're providing high demand for L1X coin and they're on multiple different chains, what the architecture allows us to do is then when you go ahead and you stake that L1X onto the Launchpad for your allocation, you'll produce a receipt token. Now, because we have multiple different revenue streams and this user has just performed an action that has benefited the demand for the coin, the utility of the coin, or the liquidity for the coin. And that receipt token can then be placed onto the nodes and receive rewards from staking onto the nodes. So what that does for a project, it incentivizes the user to interact with the project, and then what further incentivizes them is that they can rehypothecate that receipt token onto the nodes. Now, if you think about what would the next process be? Well, the node is going to emit L1X coin. And so as the node emits L1X coin and my L1X coin is staked onto the launchpad, I can do a few different things. I can just leave my stake of L1X coin on the launchpad, guarantee my allocation, and pay myself back through the L1X coins that are being emitted from the receipt token. Or I can compound my L1X coin back into my launchpad to increase my allocation or my allocation tier. And so what this does, and I can do that on any chain because L1X exists on every chain. And so that's one example of how a core project like this, one of these core projects, can now start to go omni-chain. And when they do go omni-chain, it's to the benefit of L1X coin or the liquidity used for the cross-chain swaps. Now, let's say we've got these core 8, and let's say one's a launchpad, one's an NFT marketplace, one's a lending and borrowing platform, one's maybe a hyper casual gaming arcade. But all of them have something that they're either providing liquidity for L1X coin or demand for the L1X coin utility. And so with these established and also established on these other chains, when L1X now connects to a chain, let's say L1X connects to a new chain, it's not just connecting the XTalk. When it connects into a chain, we connect the chain, we create a smart contract for L1X coin, and we plug in these applications. We plug in the launchpad, we plug in an NFT marketplace, we plug in a lending and borrowing system, and all of those applications, the major coin with the currency within those applications is L1X coin. And guess what? It's on that new chain. And so now the users can interact with the applications, a new user base. And if it's a brand new coin, it could be the first infrastructure that goes into that chain. And so it's established from day one. And so this kind of omni-chain ecosystem that we're building is basically a plug and play into these blockchains where they get the interoperability. We have utility of L1X coin, and they get an application. They get an application marketplace basically for the users to interact with. And so when asking about when the launchpad is going to be launched, is we're talking to a couple of teams at the moment because this is the important thing. This is going to be a long-term relationship with these teams. And let me kind of share with you actually, and forgive my my presentation skills, my diagram skills, but let me kind of show you this. How do I? Okay.
Are you saying that they're not Kevin Miro boards that everybody loves?
Oh, it's nowhere near Kevin's standards. No way.
We're gonna have to have Kevin do a course on how to do Kevin Miro boards so everybody can be like him.
I just throw out whatever is in my mind, man.
Oh, how come I can't share my?
No pressure, Matthew. Come on, man. Everybody's waiting now.
I know. I wanna.
Maybe the file is too big.
Let's see if I can do this. Okay, so try again. Okay. No. Okay, here we go. Maybe. Yep. Okay. So bear with me. Can you guys see that?
Yes, sir.
You can.
Wow.
Okay, cool. So yeah, this is my attempt to describe it. So basically, you've got these core applications built natively on Layer 1X. And you can see some examples in the diagram: Launchpad, DEX, Gaming Arcade, Borrowing and Lending, NFT Marketplace. And now when we're connecting to a chain, we're creating L1X on that chain. So if you can see over here, let's say we're connecting to chain B, we're creating L1X on that chain. We're bringing in the applications onto that chain, and the receipt token, when the users interact, can be staked onto the nodes for rewards. So it's making those users sticky. I can't zoom in, by the way, but so let me try and explain it if you can't see the diagram that well. So let's take a launchpad. So if it's a launchpad built on layer 1x, you don't actually have to rebuild the launchpad on the other chain. So the integration could be fairly simple, where the launchpad sits on that layer 1x in terms of the main mechanisms. But when you launch on a new chain, you probably just have to have a staking contract and then some sort of way to distribute tokens as well. So when they stake with L1X on that other chain, it records their allocation, and then the allocation, it's basically most of the work is done on the layer 1x chain, and then the tokens are distributed from their allocation. And so there's not a lot of infrastructure that needs to be added when we're connecting to these chains. And so every time we connect a chain, every chain we connect to, so we deliver these applications, and we deliver instant utility for the L1X coin that's just been created on that chain. And the good thing is we're not even increasing the total supply. We're just increasing the total amount of users that have access to the finite supply of L1X coin. So this will take some time, though. This will take, we're working with 2 DEX teams right now, and we want to be partnering with one of those DEX teams closely to be able to be one of these projects. Launchpad, we're talking to a couple of teams, but we've got to get the team right, because this is a long-term relationship. But we have the vision here. We can see the structure. So Launchpad, NFT Marketplace, and these multiple different things. But it doesn't need to be a whole lot of applications, because we don't need to wait for that. As soon as these are up, we can start to connect these applications as they come on board to these other chains. So this here, I just wanted to share that. Can I stop sharing? So from an ecosystem perspective, that's probably a core focus that for us to be developed. Now, that doesn't mean that all other projects will be coming on board and they'll be building on us, and maybe they'll be trying to do the same thing, which we're totally okay with, right? Because every time someone goes cross-chain, they use Xtalk to be able to do this. And so that's the vision for the ecosystem. That's what we're building. That's what, but these sorts of structures take time to build. But we have started now with talking to some key teams to be able to start to put these core projects in place, so we can dedicate the ecosystem pools grants, these early adopters, to these core teams to be able to build out and expand. That's the rant. But yeah, so I think that's important for the community to know that there's a vision there that we're building, and it is providing a massive amount of demand and utility for the L1X coin through the system.
Awesome.
Mike, do you want to go? Yeah, do you want to go through updates as well?
Yeah. Okay. So probably the first one I'll cover off is actually around the major projects. Matthew's actually gone through some of those at a high level. But we have been working very closely with a number of teams, and as Matthew said, around things like the DEX. In actual fact, there's probably multiple DEXs sitting there. I've actually got a screen open, and I know somebody's going to turn around and say, "Oh, why don't you show us that screen?" Can't do that yet, because we've got some names in there that they don't want us to release them yet. But we've got about 160 projects on the list now. We are adding to it. We are constantly on calls. Most of the day we spend on calls and evenings and things like that. This is probably a quiet evening tonight, just doing the AMA. So out of that, I think we've put up 2 ground up applications out there, but we've actually got 12 that we're working through at the moment, which is really, really good, across DEXs, DeFi projects. Matthew mentioned the launch pads. There's one particular team there that's standing out, the NFT marketplace. There's so many things that we've got that we're actually working through. The others, as we accept them on board, and we're really looking for those the top 8 projects to start with that are really going to make a difference to the ecosystem. And for that, that's actually going to help us when we actually move on to the next item, which is about the ecosystem grants program. And I'm sure you guys have started reading a little bit about that, but it'll be the only multi-chain grants program in Web3. It's quite amazing. The bit I might focus on a little bit tonight is really around sort of how it works and how does the community get involved in it. And basically, the best way is, as usual, you go through and make sure you're on all of our various the O1X protocol community channels, the Telegram, the Discord, the Twitter, and it's about promoting that community. Then complete the registration process, making sure people create those wallets if they don't already have one, and set up their own digital identity. They'll be then asked to perform those specific tasks or actions as instructed by, in particular, the difference here is by the project team. The big difference here is because it's an ecosystem grants pool, it's not just about L1X, it's about those projects, about how we're going to move forward with them and encourage users to start looking at it, understanding the capability that they're going to bring across the ecosystem. And as Matthew went through all the different capabilities and how they're all starting to link together. So you're going to have those core products and then those other solutions built on top of that. So probably the more important one, moving on from that, is around using Xtalk for those cross-chain swaps. The more users swap, the more they'll earn from those airdrops, and spreading the word about those various projects through the referrals and invited others to join those particular communities. I think it's really, really important that part of it is around ensuring that we promote those projects as well. It's not just about L1X, it's about the projects. We're the core infrastructure. The work that Kevin and the dev team has done has been absolutely amazing. The speed at which a lot of the work is done has been faster than I've ever seen in my entire career. So that's pretty impressive. We'll probably also we will divide the user types up into those that are really things like active users, ones that have registered the L1X wallet, the app, conducting more than 21 transactions, cross-chain transactions per month. We'll have probably those semi-active users that register for the wallet and the app, conducting between probably around 6 to 20 cross-chain transactions a month, and those that are just registered users who do between 1 and 5 transactions per month. They're the sort of things that will be rewarding, and obviously the rewards are at different levels according to those. There's a matrix of how that is calculated. I won't be going through all that detail tonight, but the whole idea and the concept here is that it's about promoting those projects and ensuring that we get that mass adoption out there. We've done a lot of work in the background. To say that the entire team hasn't been working hard would be just an understatement. The work Kevin's done, Matthew, Cody, Joe, everybody in the community, all our team members in the office have done a fantastic job. So it's over to us to make sure that we now move on to the ecosystem, those projects, get them out there working. Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, mate. Is Joe paused?
Don't think so.
What do you think? I'm in the background playing the piano.
Yeah.
I'm just doing a bit of check for questions we were coming through as well. So we do have, it isn't an AMA. So I just, I've got a couple I've been collecting the notes along the way. Just going back a touch, are we going to achieve 240 nodes hosting by July?
Yeah, I can take that one. So the reason we have decided to go with the archive nodes is that that's pretty much tested, and at the same time, these 240 nodes hosting, where we have already tested with more than 30 to 40 nodes within ourselves to even on the testnet, whether it works or not, it works flawlessly. So it would not be a problem. And, we will stick to the number of nodes so that we can achieve 800, in the time to come.
Excellent. I'll take these as I go down the list here. So they might be a bit all over the place, but that's okay. If we don't have enough L1X in our vesting now because of the data sanitization, can we somehow top up for our V1 node. So I believe this is in relation to somebody, for example, that had opted in for a V1 node. They now don't have enough in their vesting because they may have got a node in V2 already. Is there a way for them to top up so that they can then claim that V1 node?
Just repeat that, mate. I'm sorry, it's cutting out here.
Oh, that's classic Perth internet. That, or is it all right for everybody else, or am I cutting out a lot? Just
No,
Perth?
you're good. I think Machi's just falling asleep. So
classic. So if you're a V1 node holder that we've just released now, and you've opted in for a V2 node, which means that now after you've data sanitized, you don't have enough L1X in order for you to claim that V1 node. Is there a way to top up so that you can claim that V1 node now?
Yes.
No. So basically, if you got your allocation in V2, so if you opted in for 2 full validator nodes in V1 and you got 2 full validator nodes in V2, then you're good. You got your nodes. So there's no way to top up. The only way now is if you purchase it.
Yeah, I think basically, if I'm not wrong, right? If we have reduced the number of coins you even need to get the node, right? So I don't know if you would need to top up, but let's say you want to opt in for more nodes than you are actually eligible for, then you will have to top up at the maximum of 5 nodes. So basically, the way to look at this is that although the nodes are over, but you are getting those nodes, but when you want to buy, you will have to top up and buy from the remaining ones that are available from the top up quantity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Hopefully that's answered that. I think Garrett might have had that question. We'll circle back around, I'm sure.
Yeah, and look, I would say, like, because let's say you went in and you got 2 full validator nodes in V1, right? And that's 100,000 coins. You've gone into V2 and you've only claimed 2, like when you could claim 4 in V2. So if we've gone and go, okay, so if you've got 2 in V1 and you've got 2 in V2, then you've got your 2, where what you've claimed.
Yeah. Okay. Is it possible to integrate payouts from gleams, referrals, competitions, etc., on the ONX app so that we can see how much is paying out progressively?
I can take that one. I think we have the distributor in place, right? So we will update the distributor so that you can see this information if required. Because right now the distributor is not going to categorize them up to that level, but we can definitely look at it once the application team has the time for that task.
Excellent. This other one, I think, Cody, you answered this one in the comments, but for anybody that's not watching, obviously, inside StreamYard, can we expect a DEX in the next 3 months and therefore the release of LPBN token rewards? Yeah.
It'll be definitely within the next 3 months. We should have hopefully a few up as well. So that's up to the different DEXs to decide when they actually want to deploy. But we've been talking to a couple of them, and including the L1 DEX team. Like Machu mentioned earlier, we've provided all of the documentation to them that is readily available. So we've done our part. We can only do so much, hand-holding on that. And so there's been quite a few other projects that have also shared interest in becoming a DEX on there as well. And so, we've shared the same information with them as well. So, we can only keep up with them as far as how fast they want to proceed with that. But we are still keeping the lines of communication open with the L1X DEX team and moving forward as fast as we can.
Awesome. And just one from GD in the questions now. We're told Sol integration is delayed due to liquidity. Is that the case? It's hard to believe as other EVM chains with low liquidity like ARB have $100 swap limit connected. Providing just 10K USD, you could showcase functionality of Sol. You'd see that one?
Yeah, I can take this one. So let me, first of all, clarify one thing here, right? The toolkit and the wallet SDK that we released over, I think it's been 4 weeks, right? And every week we are getting around 500 to 600 downloads. So until now, we have got around 310 downloads from the wallet SDK itself. So people are going in and deploying contracts. I'll get to the answer, but people are going in and deploying contracts already. They are already building out with us. When you look at the new interface that we developed, now this interface was developed from the perspective that whatever feature we want to release for the community or for the projects and developers, these features have to be very comfortably integrated in the wallet SDK or even the CLI that the developers use to build. The Solana integration is already baked into the technology. Now, if there is a smart developer out there, that developer will figure it out. How do I even take Solana, Cardano, or any other type of technology and modify the contract to make it compatible? But what we are doing is our developers are finalizing a Gitbook documentation as to how you can integrate with Solana and you can swap from EVM to non-EVM. But not only that, not only swap, but you can also transfer your logic that we have been speaking about from EVM to non-EVM, and that will be updated on Gitbook in the coming week. The Gitbook is being updated continuously. Now that I've got the mic, I'll just speak about Gitbook a little bit. The Gitbook is being updated continuously. So we have the native development where you don't want to use Xtalk. You just build on L1X VM or EVM. We have the Xtalk, which is the XCDP standard, which is cross-chain data transfer or message transfer. We have updated that on Gitbook as well. So step-by-step instructions have been given and developers have actually gone in and started trying. So we can see developers deploying these contracts. We also updated the Gitbook with the swap and the stake contracts. So if anyone wants to go and build anything regarding token swaps or asset swaps, they can go in and start in Gitbook for that as well. We are also going to update the Gitbook now, of course, with the Solana, but the multi-chain asset issuance and management. So the balancer pool and the Giga Labs project that leverages the multi-chain asset issuance and management infrastructure, they will be going out as well in the next 10 days. And the team is also working on making sure that the balancer pools are going to be opened up so that you can withdraw your amount on the vesting basis and you can swap for the L1X. But these things that we are trying to release as a feature, they are being installed in the SDK and through the documentation. And that's why that cycle at times, requires more time where we need to make sure that if we release a feature, it is also, others can also build on that feature so that we know, if we need to change something on that specific feature through feedback mechanisms, we can do that as well. But if you go on the Gitbook right now, you go on the NPM registry website, you type in L1X, you'll see the downloads, you'll see that the documentations are in place. And even if you go to l1xapp.com/core-profiler and all the blocks being registered over there, you'll be able to see the contract types that are being deployed as well. So it's not a technical limitation because it's the technology is already built. It's just the fact that there has to be a use case attached to that. And as I mentioned previously, we are trying to focus on the core infrastructure and automating the application development lifecycle. So that's what we need to make sure with, where from the core feature until the application, it is documented in Gitbook and also GitHub repositories where people can copy paste the repository and modify certain things and deploy. This whole cycle has to be achieved for us. And if you look at any layer ones out there, there are not more than 10-15 top projects that are actually nailing down 95% of the transactions. So with us, because the technology facilitates so many new things to be done, the interface cannot be, exactly the same as the other people. So there was a lot of trial and error over there, but we are happy that the interface now works. Now, when the cycle of this documentation first project starts, that view will be automated, and that's what we are excited about.
Excellent answer. There's one connecting that. I actually think this is a clarity issue. Connecting to the above question, what went wrong with LBP? No liquidity was provided for swaps. I believe the interpretation there is that the liquidity is provided for the L1X coin itself. So when the DEX is launched, that's when that will be applied. It's not for the other swaps. Is that about on point?
Yeah, the liquidity is
yeah.
USDT L1X. Liquidity is the USDT or USD L1X. So that liquidity will be deployed when the first DEX is also deployed as well. And so that's the liquidity use.
Yeah. So that's a clarity one, I think. This one, any updates on hosting nodes a private key visibility concern?
Yes. So the team have taken that up, and we have made sure that you can save your private key in the environment variables and ignore the push to the cloud for that. So you don't have to insert your private key in the configuration file directly, but you can import it through an environment variable. So yes, we have handled that.
Excellent. Is the audit report available?
Yes, I think we have released the audit report for the WASM LLVM IR or the VM. So they audited the VM, and the most important part of the VM, which is the WASM LLVM IR, that report has been made available. If I'm not mistaken.
We'll double check that. See if we push it out. I'm not sure how many validator nodes. That is the question. I have no context.
Where is it?
I don't know.
How many
Yep.
validator nodes? How many validator nodes? I think if you're asking like how many validator nodes do we currently have in place, it's more than 10, right? But once the community members start posting it out, we hopefully will have at least it will help us where it will be more than 100 at the end of next month. That will be a part of the transaction validation lifecycle.
Excellent. When ELN node run and can work with they? So I think to translate that into more workable sentence, when will the ELNs be available to run, and how do they fit in?
Yeah. So we expected the ELN actually, after the FVN, of course, and the FVN. Put it this way: when the FVN launches, the hosting of that launches by 10th of next month, we can expect that the ELNs will be 45 days after that.
Excellent. Easy. Can we get a public announcement about the amount of tokens in each X-Perks tier?
Yeah, I think we can work on that, definitely.
It's from Dev Jones. If we've given a slot, do we need to join the whitelist? So I suppose the question in relation to if you've already got like a May hosting spot, do you need to go to the whitelist? I would say no. You would already be top of the list. Yeah.
If you've got just bring that back again.
So if you've been given a slot already, so if you've been allocated a slot in when you can host, do you need to join the whitelist? I suppose if you're in May, the answer is no. But if you were in September, for example, and you're ready now, you could join the whitelist to bump yourself forward.
Yep, that's correct. If you're ready to host a node when your spot comes up, you're ready to host a node, and that's when you want to host a node, then that's your spot. It's only when you don't actually go ahead and host that node over a period of time, that spot then gets given to someone on the whitelist who is ready to host a node, and then your spot will move to the back. So some people want to host a node, some people don't want to host a node, but if you do want to host a node, just be prepared when your spot comes up that you're ready to host, and begin hosting.
Sweet. And just continuing on down questions. When will team disclose how much funding was raised during pre and public sale?
Soon, very soon.
I think we've already done that one. Validators, yeah, we've done that one. Are NFT and fungible token minting failures due to insufficient number of running nodes?
So I can take that one. Initially, there were certain hiccups because what happens over here is it was linked to your usernames, and your username contracts were acting as the validators or validation of your FT contract, and that in infrastructure, that smart contract calls were causing certain hiccups. Number one, and number two was also the fact that the contract, so we have changed the way these kind of contracts are deployed now. Previously, you were going and deploying, a 1 MB or 800 KB contract one after the other, and it was being pretty heavy for the node. So what we did was we used our technology, which was you deploy the contract and then you initialize it. So if you have similar contracts that you are deploying, you don't need to redeploy the same thing again and again, right? So we have initialized that specific thing, which has reduced the size of deployment. And we have also increased 2 more nodes to accommodate for this, work in a distributed way. So it should work now. Before there was problems because of these 3 things which we identified. But yeah, that's why I'm here, right? That's why I'm in India, making sure that the application team are doing their job correctly. Yeah.
Awesome. I think we've already answered that one by Starlord about in the future we see the competition winnings distributed, what amounts were possible in the app. We went through that.
I've seen a couple pop up around tickets and things like that. I can address that. So with the help desk assistant and also just kind of ticketing, we're going to be kind of diving in a little bit more on that and kind of refreshing the experience around it. We've talked internally about some things that we want to try to do to get faster responses and also allow you to basically see where your tickets are at in the process of things, and also be able to connect you directly with a moderator or with a dev specifically, so that they can kind of answer your questions and before escalating it if it's a lot larger issue. So one of the things that we're going to be looking at doing is implementing almost like a tier structure in terms of support, so that if it's like a simple question of, hey, how do I connect my MetaMask wallet or my X wallet type of thing, or I'm having issues with that might be able to be solved by one of our kind of like mods like Super Beans or something like that, that he can jump in there and kind of moderate that. If it's a lot bigger issue, then he can escalate it to one of the core team members in India to kind of take a deeper dive into it. So this way we can kind of basically scale at a rapid pace for handling a lot more tickets as we bring on more projects and bring on more people as well. So just be patient with us a little bit. We know that some of you do have tickets that are outstanding. We are going through that. We are going through updating the process. So I promise you it'll get a lot better over the next few months. And as we start going through and kind of, as Kevin mentioned, kind of focusing on the ecosystem and getting it polished up and getting it solid that way. So it's coming. We'll definitely be there. So if you still have outstanding tickets, just definitely make sure that you re-raise those again with our mods to look into. Joe and his team will definitely pass those on to our internal devs so that we can kind of take a look and see what else is outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to reach out. Like I said, my DMs are open. I mean, it's probably not the best claim to make, but they are if you need anything direct as well. If you feel like you've been waiting in the loop for a little while, just reach out. Myself, Beans, hey, we're here to help. I've seen the one asked us a few times about Mexi Global. Yes, it's confirmed. Where Cody, you went through this before. Obviously, we're just playing the waiting game until listing. Anything to add to that for that? I think we've covered that reasonably extensively.
No, when it comes to Mexi, just kind of waiting on them to make sure that we're satisfying all their needs. And this is having them be very thorough is what I'll call their experience is been kind of nice because it's allowed us to kind of fine tune our integration documentation for CEXs. So like I said, in the future, you guys saw how fast LBank worked and was able to integrate us. And that's because of the hard work of the India team that we have over there. Shout out to Nitish and those guys that are working on it. They've done a great job of keeping on top of it. And like I said, the more kind of experiences that we get with working with a lot of different dev teams in terms of the CEXs, it's only going to battle test us and get us that much better so that, eventually it's just hey, here's the link, here's to everything that you need to get us integrated, and we start getting integrated with teams like that. And so, yes, everybody has their own little process and way of doing things, and it's hard to kind of find that unique balance that everybody can get what they need to basically onboard based upon those different strategies. But I feel like we're starting to really dial that in, and the LBank integration is a great testament of where we're headed with that whole thing. So while I've got the mic, there's a question here from Chaos77 about the L1X app mobile version. That is definitely in the planning stages. We are working to potentially do that. Spoke with the team about also trying to focus on making the L1X app even mobile browser friendly as well. Obviously, we want to focus on the native mobile apps here in the upcoming months as well, because there's a lot more that we can do with that versus just being able to view it on mobile through like a browser type of thing. A lot more security, a lot more integration that we can do in terms of, facilitating a wallet in there as well. That will clean up the experience. And I think that people like where we're headed with that. Plus, it'll also lend to the whole mobile validator thing down the road as well, and open up the door for that potential here in the back half of the year as well.
Yep. I'll get to nodes in a second. Before I get to that, it's fun. I have to scroll up a bit, but otherwise I'll miss it. Have all the username NFTs been distributed and have the extra NFT usernames from the earlier sale? So it was the buy one, get one with it. Where are we up to with that? An update on that would be perfect.
Yeah. So at this particular moment, once we make sure that the node NFTs and the nodes are hosted up, after that particular functionality and that free NFTs will be taken care of. So I'll say probably by the end of the next month, because these NFT transfers are also going to add up to the transactions, and we want to make sure that we have enough nodes for that as well. And again, on the second part, the team was working on the interfaces. Now the team is working with 3 different projects to make sure that the development handover is being done. So the knowledge transfer is being completed with these guys, where they are now going and modifying the contracts themselves and deploying. So once they get a little bit of bread out of that, then we will focus on this. And again, with the new developers coming in, 25 other developers, I think we can at least 2x, 3x the speed of development, covering up all these gaps and corner cases that we must have missed out over the last few months. But the most important thing is the interfaces, the toolkit and the deployment ready infrastructure for Gitbook is ready, and people can go and start building it right now.
Excellent. I think I've seen a great deal of questions about the nodes. Are we doing another session or AMA on how to host? Is there a step-by-step guide? Is there going to be, I suppose, extensive assistance in terms of how do people host? And last one around the nodes itself, is there going to be a way to outsource the hosting to third-party for people with, and I quote, shitty internet. So match you, basically.
So I think, I've sent through this Gitbook link, right? And if you look at that, how to build your first Xtalk swap contract, step-by-step guide, it's pretty structured and pretty detailed out. So once we come to that, we will definitely have an AMA where I'll get Nitish again. This time making sure that these guys are more, everyday word-friendly conversations, embedded into that at AMA.
Excellent. What's the development status of the Block Explorer?
So at this particular moment, we have finished the design of that, and probably it's going into development sometime this week. So Saturday is a working day here. It used to be Friday, but now I'm here, so I got to work Saturdays as well. We should be able to finish the Explorer that has the block level information, transaction, validator level blocks that they have actually validated by the 10th of June. So we should have that ready to go. But right now, if you want to go and have a look at it, you can go onto l1xapp.com/core-profiler, which is a little bit outdated design, but it should still provide information that you need on blocks.
Excellent. We'll start wrapping these last couple of questions up. Obviously, I know everybody's got a lot of stuff to get doing. So a random herring question: what's being discussed tomorrow with Alpha Growth?
Lots of good things. We've got a great AMA set up full of some deep, hard questions. So if you guys tune into our regular AMA X-Talk series episodes, you'll kind of know where we go with that. But this will definitely be more of a spotlight on our specific partnership that we've got growing with them. No pun intended there, but they are definitely a growth partner that we have brought on, and they're going to be they've already introduced us to quite a few interesting partnerships that we're working on in the background. Some I wish, I know Machu and Mike are itching to announce, but we definitely got to keep on the DL for now. But they've been very instrumental for us, and so it's going to be a nice little candid fireside kind of chat, just to kind of get to know them, the team, get to know their experience and their backgrounds, and people will be able to start putting 2 and 2 together of what kind of potential they'll be able to open up for us in the upcoming months as well.
Awesome. And I think last one to wrap us up, can L1X app be set up so that we can be logged into both L1X wallet and MetaMask wallet at the same time?
To answer that, it'll be something that is in the works. It'll be a little bit down the road, but it is definitely something that we want to address. We want to clean up that user experience for people. There's a few things that we need to wait on, specifically kind of contract wise and core wise, but don't fret. It's definitely on the horizon of where we want to kind of take it as well.
Awesome. All right, let's start a wrap up, because like I said, I know I'm really conscious of everybody's time, specifically all around the world as well, different time zones. So let's have a wrap up statement. Who wants to kick off the wrap up statements?
Yeah, I'll go. I just want to say, look, thank you again for all the community for tuning in. It's always great to be able to update, especially with everyone on the panel, which is always nice. I think we're in that transition stage now, and we're into the exciting part of working with the ecosystem and building it up, and having a clear vision on what we're doing, and getting the tech out there. So it's an exciting time, and look, there's a lot of work to be done, and things will start to come into place. But yeah, it's pretty exciting when you look forward to the potential technology and applications that we're talking to, and what they can do with the tech, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah. And I think you'll start seeing tomorrow when you get on the AMA with Alpha Growth, the work that we've been doing in the background, and start seeing where the protocol is heading. That should start giving you a really good idea.
Yeah, from my angle, yeah, it's all about seeing all of our efforts over the last 18 months really starting to kind of merge together to that point where everything's starting to come together, and it's going to be an exciting time during these next few months to see that, and I couldn't be more excited, even for myself, to see all the things starting to roll out that provide utility for the L1X coin, provide infrastructure for these existing and new projects that are coming onto L1X, specifically tapping into the X talk. I can't tell you how many people I talk to on a daily basis during these AMAs that are ours, as well as I join other AMAs, that get so excited when we start talking about this X talk technology that's at our heart of our blockchain, that's built right into the DNA. And so we are definitely on the cusp of making some serious change here in the crypto space. So couldn't be more excited.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because if you look at it, right, like there was a cycle of these layer ones where you had this decentralized generic smart contract execution, stage. Then you had this stage where, it was all about speed. I'm doing 120,000 transactions a second, 140,000 transactions a second. It was all about speed. But I definitely, know that there will be a time soon now where I think it can be in less than 12 months as well, where it'll all be about interoperability, right? Where it's going to be so necessary that without that core feature, building applications would be impossible to happen. So when that stage comes, I think what is more important for us is that the core infrastructure for interoperability is fine-tuned in a way that the libraries that you use today for anything in terms of Web3 development, these libraries are tuned up so that when it comes to that stage, developers can easily pick up something and even with existing infrastructures, plug and play the interoperability angle. But more importantly, in the next 6 to 10 months, our focus is making sure that the core stabilizes, the nodes are hosted, and the project's development has an automated way of coming on, developing with us, and the improvement proposals that can be developed by the external developers, core development teams that can be established. This is, a part of the process. So once we have these fundamentals established, and even if the price of the coin is undervalued, and I hope it is undervalued, that is the time these kind of push, takes it to the next level. Where if you think Solana's gone from all the way from $1 to $200, after a certain point in time where the scalability was the most important part. So I think this is when these times build that infrastructure for waiting for that moment to come, and its recognition to happen. So I'm excited. I'm happy to spend grinding time right now.
Yeah, and just to echo what everybody said, I think we are at that moment in time where this is the fun bit, right? Like this is the bit where it's the fruition of the community. It's the fruition of Kevin's vision and dream. It's the fruition of obviously Matthew and Mike and Cody's work in the background as well, doing all the connecting everything together to bring us to where we are now. And obviously everybody else from the dev team, from the operations team, all the other team as well. Like this is the moment now where it's like, okay, now give it up to the people. Let the other devs come in. Let people build on top of it. Let the ecosystem grow. And like this is the best bit. Like this is the fun bit. So I think congratulations everybody. You made it to the good bit. And now I think we can really dive in and start operating, so to speak, on everything that's coming next. And it's we couldn't be in any more of an exciting spot where it's just seeing things come online now, seeing the exchanges come up, soon to be, DEXs, soon to be projects, all the fun stuff that's coming with it. And I think we won't even recognize ourselves in a year's time from now. So I think that's it. That's enough closing statement from me. But once again, thanks everybody for jumping on. I know we're 12 hours different to where we normally are, so that's probably great for some of you and probably terrible for others. But once again, thanks for joining us. We will see you all in the next one. And I'll continue to ping you with plenty of updates as they come out. So thanks, guys, and we'll see you soon.